Hi everyone. We are back from our vacation and I hope you all had a great week off, well, half week. And we're going to get started with our mini chicken pot pies in a muffin tin. So let me get my camera ready to go. We have our muffin tin and some ingredients over here. I don't have cooking spray in my house, I realized, so I'm gonna do a substitute. I'll show you how to do that in case you are also out of cooking spray. You'll need a measuring cup, a bowl, some spoons. You're gonna have your vegetables, your chicken, cream of chicken soup, biscuits or crescent rolls, whatever was delivered to you. And then you'll just need a little bit of salt and pepper. Okay, that looks good. And then before we start, make sure to always preheat your oven to 350. And we don't need muffin liners for this. So this one, you just need your muffin tin. And then if you have a non-stick cooking spray, you need to really spray these well, okay? Each little cavity in the muffin tin. What I'm going to do, since I don't have any cooking spray here, I'm going to take an oil. It can be vegetable oil. I have an avocado oil that I'm going to use. And there's my oven is ready. And I'm going to put it on a paper towel and just kind of make sure that I get it in each little spot. So it is significantly more time consuming, but that is okay. And you can do this for lots of things if you ever find that you ran out of cooking spray. You could also use butter. You just want to melt it beforehand. Crescent rolls, if you do end up with crescent rolls in your delivery, sometimes Hannaford may have been out of what we intended to deliver. So, if you or someone who got crescent rolls, they do have a little bit more butter in them than the biscuits do, so you should be okay. So as long as you feel around the edges and you feel that you have enough coating, then you should be okay. I feel pretty good about mine. You just really don't want the biscuits to stick in here, so that's gonna be key. I'm just gonna wash my hands really quick. Okay, so now that that is ready, I'm gonna get this out of the way. We are going to use an entire can of cream of chicken soup. So we'll pop that open, and usually when you make this, you mix it with something else. And we don't need to do that in this instance. Usually you make it with like milk or water. We don't need to do that here. And then we've got our chicken here. And this, we do want to drain. It's just like a can of tuna if you've ever opened that up. So I'm just gonna put the lid back down and drain it over the sink. You can also use a colander if you have one of those handy. All right, so I'm just adding in some chicken. And again, just like how when we made the lemon herb crescent rings, you can use regular chicken. You can bake it or crock pot it. That part is just fine as well. I'm gonna get this open. This is the vegetables. Another substitution you can do for this is you can use frozen vegetables, mixed veggies. You can do, if you find like a peas and carrots and corn mixture, that's a good combination to do. So I'm just going to use the lid to also drain. I left the lid hanging on by a little bit. Drain this over the sink. I'm gonna do is I only need 1 cup of this vegetable mixture. So I'm not gonna use the whole can. You can if you want, if you like a lot of veggie, but it leaves about 1/4 of a can. So I'm gonna add that in there. We've got our biscuits. Before I open that, I'm just gonna do some salt and pepper in here. Actually, I'm gonna use a small spoon because that's what we're gonna wanna do to mix. So now I just wanna get everything incorporated really, really well. And you want to get the chicken broken up too, because sometimes the chunks of chicken are really big. If you were to do chicken breast, you would want to make sure that you dice it really small. Just to make sure, because these are bite-sized chicken pot pies. So that's what it looks like mixed together. Again, you can modify this recipe however you'd like. You can use biscuits or crescent dough, frozen or canned veggies, and if there's a different mixture of veggies that you like, you can do that. You can use, of course, I said you don't have to use the canned chicken. That's just like last time, the easiest way to get chicken out to you all. And then the salt and pepper adds to it, so definitely crack some salt and pepper in there. And it looks like my chicken is broken up pretty well, so I'm going to set this aside now. Now I'm gonna try and find the little seam. There we go. Okay, it doesn't pop, you just have to give it a squeeze. So if you are someone who had biscuit dough, then what we're going to do is stretch these and this is going to make 10 mini pot pies. Okay, if you are someone who had crescent roll dough, then you're going to want to stretch them and then use a knife to cut the excess, and then you're going to drape it kind of over the top, kind of like how a pie would look. If you've seen how they do the lattice top on the pie with the crisscross, that's what you would do with the crescent roll dough. Some of the Berkshire students may end up with crescent roll dough. Oops, I'm not sure. So what we do now is, I'll show you on this middle one, we're gonna press this into the little cup. And that's one. Find another, mush it down and start stretching. Fit it down into there. So you're basically just going to do this step over and over again until you get all 10 filled in. So I guess we don't need to grease all 12 compartments. That is okay. sometimes they lose a little bit of shape as you put them in there, so. Just have to pull them up to the side. Another way you could do this too is if you wanted to do kind of a cheater chicken pot pie in a pie dish, is make the same mixture that we just made in the bowl and then cut the biscuits up and sprinkle them on top and then bake it, and the biscuits would cook while they're on top of the pot pie. So that's another option. One more biscuit. Oops. Okay, so there we go. We've got all of our biscuits in there. We kind of made little cuppies. And then the ones from the beginning, if they started to sink in, you can just poof them back up, squish the sides up. We do that as the dough warms up. So now we're going to take our mixture and just take a big scoop, pile it into each one. Another thing you could do is puff pastry. If you wanted to buy a roll of puff pastry, that would be good with this too. A little more. All right, so all of my mixture is gone, and I have 10 nicely filled little mini pot pies. So what I'm going to do is I am going to start with 15 minutes, and then we'll go from there. I'm going to check to see if this is browning up really well, and then I'll check it at 15. We'll see how that's going, and if we need to add more time, we will. So I will see you in 15 minutes. All right, everyone. So I ended up putting my pot pies back in. I checked them at 15 and they weren't quite done because the edges of the biscuit dough were not browned yet, and now you can see it's browned around the edge. So I know that they are done. And grab my butter knife. Be careful when you're doing this step. You don't want to scratch your muffin tin, and I also don't want you to burn yourself, but they should lift out fairly easily if you sprayed your muffin tin well enough. So grab a fork and I'll show you. So if you scoop up from the side, oh, having an overflow situation over here. So if we look here, minus my spillage, that lifted out perfectly from the muffin tin. So I have nothing sticking on my edges, so that means I greased my pan really well. So you're gonna wanna just let them sit for a few minutes, but you definitely want to see brown around the edges. And they're kind of just like little cups. So 20 minutes worked really well for me at 350 degrees. And that is what we want to go for when we are making these. So definitely make sure that you just check it at the 15-minute mark, because like I always tell you, everyone's oven is gonna be a little bit different, and be careful not to burn yourself, and try not to spill your cups when you're taking them out. But give them a few minutes to settle before you do that step. And I hope you enjoy this recipe, and I will see you all next week. Bye everyone.